Narcissism. Do I have your attention? I know I do. You know why I know that I do? Because narcissism is the most widely talked about psychiatric condition on the face of the fucking planet right now. And people have been asking me to do content on narcissism since I started this channel, since I started my brand, but I've kind of been avoiding it. Mostly because I think it's an oversaturated topic. Everybody and their mamas are talking about it. But I have decided that I will speak about it. For the very reason that people are asking me to. I have a bit of a unique perspective in that I have an up-close and personal relationship and experience with this condition, because one of my parents was actually NPD, which is narcissistic personality disorder. And I've had multiple relationships where I have experienced narcissistic abuse myself. And on top of that, I'm a therapist. So I understand why people want me to talk about it. I also have another motivation, and that is that I have very strong feelings about how this word gets overused and misused all the time. So today's video is going to be just a little bit different than what you're used to seeing out there. Today, I'm going to talk about some of the harm that's done when we do overuse and misuse this term, and what narcissism is versus what it's not, because not every display of bad behavior is narcissistic. So stay tuned. Cue music.
Potty, she talking naughty. Here to help your trouble, she don't judge nobody. Even if you're not at your top and it's a lie, she try to make you see a different train of thought.
Hello, my fellow gurus, and welcome back to my channel. I am the Pottymouth Guru, and my mission is to help you learn how to unfuck yourself one video at a time and live the life that you truly deserve. Woo! So, narcissism, one of the most popular psych buzzwords of our fucking time. You hear it all the time. He was being such an asshole. I mean, what a narcissist. She takes so much time getting ready. I mean, she's a narcissist. They didn't even come to my parents' place for dinner because they're a narcissist. Ew, you're such a narcissist. Remember, guys, that NPD, which is narcissistic personality disorder, and pathological narcissism is a psychiatric condition. This is a huge dysregulated situation, maladaptive behavior. This is not your regular run-of-the-mill asshole. And when it comes to narcissism, there's actually a huge spectrum, just like there is with any other mental health condition. One can have narcissistic traits, which can be a normal display of healthy self-esteem, and it can go all the way to being maladaptive and being a disorder. But just because somebody is self-absorbed, it doesn't mean that they're a narcissist. Just because someone displays rude behavior or doesn't do what you want them to do, doesn't mean they're a narcissist. Just because there's conflict and different perspectives on what's happened in that conflict, it doesn't mean that there's narcissism and gaslighting going on. An NPD diagnosis is typically based on signs and symptoms, a physical exam to rule out all other possible conditions that might be causing these symptoms, a super thorough psychological evaluation, and meeting the criteria of the DSM-5, which is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders that's published by the American Psychiatric Foundation. It's like the Psych Bible. Now, you need to be presenting at least 5 of the 9 traits, along with impairments with intra and interpersonal relationships, meaning your relationship with self and with others. And this diagnosis can only be given by a licensed, qualified clinician. Now, overusing and misusing this term can be harmful in the following ways. Number 1, over-casualizing this term ends up dismissing people who have been or are going through narcissistic abuse right now. Not all bad behavior or conflict constitutes as narcissism. Number 2, as important as it's been to raise awareness around narcissistic abuse so that it can actually be identifiable, it's also made normal everyday conflict so much worse, in that it causes people to see evil plots and threats where there aren't any. Number 3, so gaslighting, which is often identified with narcissism, is also misused to fuck. Trying to manipulate someone and convince them that their reality isn't real and make them doubt their own senses is absolutely psychological assault and highly AB. Now, on the other side of the coin is someone who is convinced that their partner is a narcissist or gaslighting them, when in reality they might have different memories and perspectives of the incident that they're discussing. Number 4, ambition and confidence might be mistaken for arrogance and grandiosity, and sometimes appropriate levels of self-esteem can be mistaken for a sense of entitlement instead. Number 5, I have seen / heard adults calling kids narcissists. Calm yourself. Children cannot be diagnosed as narcissists. You want to know why? Because they go through necessary stages of narcissism in their development. It's normal. So, is it narcissistic behavior or pathological narcissism / narcissistic personality disorder? P.S. There is a difference between the two, but we'll save that for another time. They're similar. Look at. Most people can be guilty of displaying narcissistic behavior at times, but it doesn't mean they have NPD. Most adults have been told at one point or another that they're being self-absorbed or that the world revolves around them. This does not mean that they are full-blown narcissists. What makes it different is how frequent it is, the intensity of it, and how long this behavior goes on for, so the duration. On one hand, somebody who displays occasional narcissistic traits will do so mildly, whereas somebody who is a pathological narcissist or has NPD will display that shit all the motherfucking time and use destructive narcissistic traits to gain a false sense of superiority and ultimately exploit their relationships. So here are some examples of narcissistic behaviors that are not pathological. So your performer friend lands a big gig, gets loads of wicked publicity, maybe in like a taste of fame or something, then spends a bit of time like walking around like they're fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. And for the next couple weeks, they're driving you fucking yeah. But eventually they return back to the fun, laid-back person that you enjoy going out for a beer with. Or your girlfriend's found a new love or is getting married and they get totally absorbed into their experience. And so it dominates your conversations and it's plastered all over their social media all the fucking time. Maybe she even displays a sense of superiority over her single friends. Maybe she makes some passive-aggressive comments about them, all whilst being in love / planning a wedding. But then maybe she gets some constructive feedback from you or other friends and realizes that she's been a bit self-absorbed and insensitive. She owns it, she apologizes, becomes more aware of her behavior, and then is able to settle back into the nice, positive, fun dynamic of the friendship. These are narcissistic moments, not narcissism. So, what does a full narcissist look like? People with NPD will purposefully cause drama and toxic environments to exploit their relationships and further their agenda for self-gain. They will display constant traits of grandiosity, which is like an inflated sense of self, it's arrogance, conceit, lack of empathy, so fuck your feelings. They will constantly lie. I mean, to the point where maybe everything that comes out of their mouth might be a fucking lie. They exaggerate everything, spread rumors, which, by the way, they enjoy, to make other people look bad so that they can look good. They often distort facts. They make personal attacks, blame everybody but themselves, and use aggressive coercion to get what they want, aka they're bullies. They're demanding, they constantly need attention, and they get pissed off fast if you are not at every single one of their fucking beck and calls. In their world, they truly, usually unconsciously, believe that the world revolves around them and should, because they're special. They lack insight. They're entitled to some next level, even to be above the law, let alone other people's boundaries. They chronically dig on spreading negativity and negative thoughts, negative emotions, to make people around them feel inadequate so that they can establish psychological control. They love bomb the shit out of you and then in the next breath tear you the fuck apart. This is over a period of time or perhaps even in the moment. So the personal story that I will share with you has to do with this parent that had NPD. Something they used to do all the time when I was a kid is tell me how awesome I am. You're so talented, you're so beautiful, you're so smart, you're so this, you're so that, and in the same fucking breath, it would be this. But you'll never amount to anything because of your character flaws. You're so great, but you're a loser. Fucking confusing. So much ambivalence about myself. This is something I've battled my whole entire life. Am I good or am I shit? It's better now, but it still pops up. It's a childhood filled with mixed messages. They manipulate people as an extension of self, like a tool or a puppet. It's all for personal gain. They might use inauthentic flattery, guilt, shame, negative pressure, blame, and threats to manipulate people into doing what they want. They're unable to relate to other people, they just use them. You are not a sentient being to this person, but instead hold the same status as an inanimate object. Now, do you see the difference between your girlfriend being a dick sometimes, your boyfriend being hung up on his looks, or your friend obsessively talking about their promotion, and an actually clinically diagnosable narcissist? I hope you do, because throwing around the word narcissist like a common insult needs to be taken off the fucking table. Sometimes an asshole is just an asshole. Thank you so much for joining me on the narcissist journey today. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to my channel. If you dug it and you think it might be valuable for somebody else, go ahead and share that shit. Also, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. Please tell me your stories. I know these are really difficult relationships. They're confusing relationships. Put it all in the comments. It's gonna help other people. And it's gonna help me make content for you. And on that note, that's it. Goodbye. Peace be with you.